welcome to City Hall. I am Olga George, Mayor Gainey's, the Honorable Mayor Ed Gainey, Press Secretary, and for the City of Pittsburgh. I thank you all for being here today for this meaningful occasion. We're gathered here today to not only unveil an official portrait, but to mark a moment that carries profound significance for our city. For the first time in more than 200 years, we honor a Black mayor for the City of Pittsburgh. This moment matters not only for what it represents today, but for what it signals to future generations about leadership, representation, and who belongs at the table. An achievement rooted in perseverance and the collective progress of a community that continues to move forward together. Today is a celebration of service and of the many individuals who have helped shape this chapter in our city's history. It is fitting that we recognize some of those who walked alongside the mayor in leadership, partnership, and support in service to the city. We will begin by welcoming Jake Pollock, the deputy mayor, whose collaboration and steady partnership have been instrumental in advancing work of this city's administration. Jake?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Olga. I first met Mayor Gainey in 2013. He was a recently elected state representative, and I was the chief of staff to one of his colleagues in the state legislature. And over the years that followed, we got to know each other better as I moved into his legislative district and became one of his constituents. And then as I later moved to a job at the Urban Redevelopment Authority where he was a board member. But our relationship became much deeper a little over 5 years ago, right after Thanksgiving in 2020, when we met and he asked me my opinion about the fact that he was considering a run for mayor. I think in the 5 years since then, very few days have gone by where we haven't spoken. And in that time, in those 5 years, I've had the opportunity and the honor of my lifetime, which was to support and learn from his leadership in his time as a candidate and as the leader of our city. I've done this type of work before, working to support elected officials as they carry out their duties. And for those of us who do that work, we know that part of the job is presenting them with options, typically the options between the hard but right choice and the easy choice. And for a variety of reasons, we typically expect them to take the easy choice more often, and we justify to ourselves that that's what allows you to have the bandwidth and the political capital and the support to make the hard choice when it counts. But I had higher expectations for Mayor Gainey than most, and at the beginning of this journey, I made it my goal that we would choose the hard but right choice just as often as we chose the easy choice, about 50-50. Turns out I have my expectations terribly wrong, because today, with about 2.5 weeks left to go in your administration, Mayor, I'm still waiting for you to make the easy choice. And I couldn't be prouder to have been part of an administration that you led in that way. That is a path that had its costs. It certainly used up a lot of political capital, and it turned away some fair weather friends. But it also won you many, many sincere and intense admirers. And no more so, I think, than right here in this building and in the employees of city government, because you had a genuine belief in public service and public servants. You changed the lives, I think it's fair to say, of a lot of people who work for the city, because you understood that people who choose public service as a career could often be making more money somewhere else. They could have less responsibilities and less headaches to deal with, but they choose public service because they have a deep and abiding care for their communities, and they want to help their neighbors, and they're willing to make sacrifices for that. By believing in them and by pouring your strength into them, you've taken people who are often misunderstood, often forgotten, and often, frankly, beat up upon, and made them the center of attention and the heroes that they're meant to be. And in doing that, I think you have changed the way this city is governed and will be governed long after your term in office ends. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to reflect on one of those public servants in particular, which is myself. You know, this job has been very hard. At times it broke me, but thanks to you and your belief in me and your support for me, it also built me back stronger than I've ever been before. And I just want to let you know that I believe that you chose me to be a part of your team because you felt that I was capable of helping you govern. But in the last 5 years with you, I've learned how to lead. I've found my voice, and I found my courage that I never had before. And I'm very grateful for that. Your righteous, judicious, and brave leadership is a model that every other mayor and every other leader should aspire to follow. It's certainly one that I'll take with me, and I think everyone whose life you touched as mayor will take with them. And it's something that I'm just extremely grateful for. So I'm happy to be here today to help join in this celebration of you. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, JP. I didn't realize I was going to need some tissues when you spoke today. I will now ask Jeff Webster of the Pittsburgh Futures Collaborative, whose commitment to innovation and inclusive growth reflects the values that define and help guide this administration, for a few words. Jeff?
Thank you. So first of all, it is such an incredible honor to be here today and asked to speak at this momentous occasion, recognizing the contributions of Mayor Gainey, who served for the first time in 231 years, I'm going to be very specific, as the first Black mayor in our history. I stand here because I'm fortunate to be involved with the Pittsburgh Futures Collaborative that is dedicated to supporting leaders who are interested in creating a region where every individual can thrive. From our first conversation, when the mayor was still Ed, it was clear that he shared that vision for excellence and for equity. We worked with Mayor Peduto before, and we hope to work with Mayor O'Connor starting in a few weeks, because in the great democratic tradition of our nation, it's the responsibility of a role, not a particular person, to serve the interests of the people. These leaders and all of us as citizens together are charged with carrying forward the creed outlined in America's founding documents. We work to achieve a nation in which we act on the first principle that all men and women are created equal. We work to create the conditions where everyone can seek life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These aren't just words, these have meaning. And we, the people, have a responsibility to work together to form a more perfect union. These documents themselves lay out ideals that we should chase and a pathway to habitual excellence in that pursuit. And we've never achieved them, but we always are trying, and we are on our way. Mayor Gainey, as completely as anyone I have ever met, embraces the spirit of these documents and the inherent personal growth that they require in each of us every day. There are 4 fundamental roles that leaders have to play in order to lead habitually excellent organizations. The first is for the leader to accept personal responsibility for everything gone wrong in the organization. And that is a very hard thing to do for a political leader. I never once saw the mayor blame the people who worked for him, which freed people up to try, to fail fast, to learn, and to get better. This is exceptionally rare in politics and the sign of a true leader that others can look to for an example. A leader must also create physical and psychological safety for everyone they are responsible for. Pittsburgh is experiencing the safest year in its history due to the systems that the mayor led. Fewer homicides, fewer non-fatal gunshots, fewer serious traffic incidents, and worker injuries in the city workforce. More than that, every city worker I have encountered has commented how free they feel to learn because of the systems and the culture that the mayor created. A third thing is only the top leader can set goals at perfect, to strive and to aspire, not just to muddle along and be mediocre. Politics is filled with people who set easy targets to reach so that they can look good when they hit them. True leaders help their people imagine the ideal along the way and then achieve far better results by pursuing excellence. This mindset has enabled the 30% reductions in worker injuries and huge reductions in violent crime and in serious injury crashes on our roads. And that's because our leader has had the courage to take those stands. Finally, leaders must create systems to enable people to live by shared values. More than any other public sector leader that I've ever seen, Mayor Gainey hasn't just been a cheerleader for these ideas, he's been a system builder to drive safety, respect, and innovation into the culture of the city. Every prior administration can be credited with advancements in our city. The Peduto administration should be credited with advancing transparency and some of the first methods to enable feedback and improvement. Mayor Gainey built on that base and should go down in history for building a culture of respect and continuous improvement without catering, but always serving. He has done the hard and thankless work of building the systems to create a safer, more welcoming, and more thriving community for the benefit of all of the people of Pittsburgh. And for that, every resident of the city owes Mayor Gainey a deep debt of gratitude. Thank you.
Now, I would like to bring forth a member of the mayoral security detail, Mike Gay. Whose professionalism and dedication ensured the safety and continuity of the mayor's ability to do the work, but who's also a longtime friend, whose support has been constant across both personal and public chapters of Mayor Gainey's journey. Mike?
Is Michael now? Okay. In all seriousness, y'all, excuse me if I get a little emotional in this because I'm coming from a personal standpoint. We're talking over 40 plus years of friendship. 10 years old down in Collins Avenue, down in Brick City. And let me tell y'all this, let me tell y'all something. At 10 years old to 17 years old, this is not what I expected, okay? We did not foresee him becoming mayor of the city of Pittsburgh. Now, granted, he had a work ethic, but it was about having fun. It was about having a good time and enjoying himself. But at some point in time in life, and he's told y'all the story about when he went down to Norfolk and then it clicked that he had to change his life. You know what I mean? And from that point on, he's been laser focused. Now, he wasn't laser focused when he lived across the street from the school and was late 3 days a week. But yet and still, it all clicked in. I'm gonna keep it brief and I'm gonna be seated because there's a lot of things that I can say. But let me just say this. Traveling with him up and down the road these last 4 years, fighting for the city, fighting for these communities, has been a true treasure. Me and my partner, Detective Ford, will tell you, the man will not be outworked, okay? Day in and day out, he's on the phone, talking to this one, lobbying for this, arguing with this, trying to make this city better for everyone. And he has, if anyone has any questions, me and my partner can attest to the fact he has touched every single community in this city. To his children, y'all are his heartbeat. Without y'all, and I'm sorry I'm getting emotional about this, because he talks about y'all constantly. You know what I mean? The accomplishments y'all have made, you know what I mean? The things that y'all are doing and moving forward. And he truly expects y'all to far exceed him. And I believe that y'all will. Michelle, thank you for entrusting me with protecting him for the last 4 years. He's been my friend since 1980, and he will be my friend to the day I hit the dirt. But for everyone in this room, it was an honor and a pleasure to serve the 61st mayor and the first black mayor of the city of Pittsburgh, my brother, Ed Gainey.
Big Mac, I didn't tell you to make us emotional now. Okay. So now, let's welcome to the podium Ms. Lori Criswell, a legislative and mayoral staffer whose tireless work Ms. Criswell's tireless work behind the scenes helped transform vision into action that was impactful for communities across our city and was one of the mayor's sounding board. Lori.
Good morning again, everybody. So again, my name is Lori Criswell. I am the administrative assistant to Cal Centinopoli. I've had the honor and pleasure of starting this journey with you, Mayor Gainey, back in 2012, when you became state representative for the 24th District. That is where I saw the character of a man speak life into crowds of people, move crowds, and commanded the rooms you walked into. I not only had the privilege to work with a trailblazer, but with a man that put people before politics. A man that did not just crack the glass ceiling, but shattered it. A man that broke many racial barriers, one being the first black mayor in the city 206 years. The city of Pittsburgh became a city in 1816. A city that has been known for its historic segregation and challenges for black women and minorities. Your legacy of equity and inclusion, affordable housing, community-focused public safety, economic opportunity, city services, and the 2026 NFL Draft, just to name a few. Just to name a few will be talked about by many for many, many years to come. So I want to take this time to ask First Lady Michelle, the Gainey family to please stand. We in this room and we in the city of Pittsburgh would like to thank you for sharing Mayor Ed Gainey, the son of Pittsburgh, with us.
Tanya lady with a big message. It's my honor and my privilege to recognize First Lady Michelle Gainey, whose partnership, advocacy, and strength represented the foundation that sustained the mayor's ability of leadership and service. First Lady Michelle.
So I'm just going to start with, I'm going to try not to cry. Anyone who knows me knows that they're back here. For me, I just want to, on behalf of our children, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my handsome young cousin Mark, my cousin, my children's godmother, Mercedes, my bonus baby, I just want to say thank you. And not just thank you for the hours, for the time away from your families, for the up at 7, working until 10 at night, traveling across the road. And I do want to say to Mike and to Casey, there were moments that I was worried about my husband, about his physical safety, because of the state of this nation. So I thank you because you took him every day and you brought him home every night. And to my husband, it's the character. When we met, you were handsome. As we started dating, you looked cute in a suit. But as we got to grow as partners, as we got to experience life, as we've created children, it's your character that I would stand next to, in front of, and behind until my last. I would not have ever been able to do what you have done. Supported your team, grown your team, led that team in the way that you have. It's the character of the man that would never let you be dirty, that would never let you go and dance in the dirt like people wanted. It is your character that allowed you to walk in every room, head held high, speak and teach everyone in the room, even if they weren't listening. It is the character that allowed you to build relationships, friendships, connect with experts to help you in this role. And there's no news media, no post on social media that will ever take that away from this man. He was born in this city. He loves this city, and he sacrificed for this city in ways that most people cannot, and certainly some wouldn't even choose. So know that I am proud of you. Our children and I love you. We have great examples in you. And thank you to his team, because, listen, I've said being a first lady, there's no book, there's no class, there's no mentor. So I had to lean into and ask questions repeatedly so that I could support him both in space and at home. So thank you for all that you all did and all that you all sacrificed. And to our children, thank you for your sacrifice. You sacrificed time. You sacrificed moments. You stood up beside your dad. You walked with your dad. And then sometimes, some moments, you pushed your dad. So I thank you for that too. I appreciate the time. I thank you all for working. I'll talk to you after. But I saw a lovely portrait and letter given to my husband. It had me crying at my dining room table. So just know that we as his family thank you and we appreciate you, and we're excited that we're here to honor him as well. Thank you.
Thank you, First Lady, for those beautiful and inspiring words. I will now ask Special Assistant to the Mayor, Pamela Collier, whose coordination and counsel helped ensure that the work of the office remained focused, responsive, and effective for the official reading of the Mayor's biography that will be with his portrait. And before that, she will share some words. Pam?
Thank you. First, I just want to say the beautiful young women in my office introduced me to lashes. Baby, I don't go a day without them, but I'm trying not to cry today, not successfully. It is such an honor to work with this man. I've worked with him since 2016 when he was a state legislator. And we talk about change agents. Thank you. Being a change agent, he inherently is that. He comes in a room and the whole vibration of the room changes. Where people were angry, he was able to calm them down. Where we were maybe a little lackluster, he was able to rev us up. Just amazing. And it's a gift that God has given you. And I want to follow up with what First Lady said. This man has covered us. And for those that aren't spiritual, covering is a spiritual thing where They take the slings and the arrows that were directed to us, and he took that. He took that on our behalf, and I thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. His examples of leadership. Somebody told a story yesterday about when he and some of the team went to the University of Pittsburgh, and they went and talked to the students and were able to talk them down. And the person pointed out and said it wasn't even his fight. It didn't have anything at all to do with him, except he loves Pittsburgh and he loves people. And he wanted to intercede so nobody got hurt. That's leadership. That's real leadership. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I thank your family. I have a million Ed Gaineyisms, but I got a couple Michelle Gaineyisms too. Don't get it twisted. When we first started, we didn't used to schedule a lunch for him. And she said, listen, I don't know what y'all think this is, but my husband has to eat every day. Put a lunch on the calendar so that he can eat. And then we used to pack him down with like 10 meetings a day. And she was like, no, we're not doing that either. So I appreciate that you at all times were there by his side as his partner, and you were like, I'm gonna stand in the gap for him. So thank you for that. And thank you for these beautiful young people that I have had the privilege to see grow and prosper, and I can't wait to see you all in 10 years, 15 years, because I know you come from good stock. So thank you, everybody. Now I'm going to read. If ever you've done a tour of the Hall of Mayors, Mayor Gainey's picture is going to be there, and here's his little thing. It will say, the Honorable Mayor Ed Gainey, term 2022 to 2026. Mayor Ed Gainey was the 61st mayor of the City of Pittsburgh and the first African American to lead the city. He stepped into office at a historic moment, guiding Pittsburgh out of the global COVID-19 pandemic. His leadership was tested quickly as he became the first mayor to navigate the collapse and rapid rebuilding of one of Pittsburgh's major bridges by responding with urgency, transparency, and collaboration. Mayor Gainey's inclusive leadership style opened new pathways for regional cooperation. Working closely with Allegheny County, he helped launch compassionate and effective strategies to address homelessness, an issue deepened by the pandemic. He oversaw the dramatic expansion of the Office of Community Health and Safety, transforming it from an idea on paper into a team of social workers who respond alongside police to support individuals in crisis. This is a man that cares. The efforts closed, I should have worn my glasses. The efforts closed unsafe encampments, connected vulnerable residents with housing, and ensured they were treated with respect and dignity. Under his leadership, Pittsburgh partnered with the Steelers and other stakeholders to bring the NFL draft to the city, generating excitement and economic opportunity. I remember when it was a thought, when you came into office and said, we need to have the draft in Pittsburgh, and here we are. His administration also made significant strides in public safety, contributing to a major reduction in crime, especially among young people, and with no homicides among youth 13 to 17 in 2024. You should clap for that. He was also instrumental in bringing private and public entities together to secure $600 million to revitalize downtown and reinvigorate the Youth Commission to give young people a meaningful voice in local government. Amen. A deeply committed housing advocate who lived in public housing as a child, Mayor Gainey secured the first ever affordable housing bond investment in the city's history and dedicated millions of the pandemic recovery funds allocated to the city to the creation and preservation of affordable housing. Yes. Amen. Ed Gainey married the lovely Michelle Gainey, and together they raised 3 wonderful children, Mariah Peoples, Alexa Gainey, and Terrius Gainey. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. I would like to welcome the first family forward to do the official unveiling of the portrait. Mayor, First Lady. Don't unveil it as yet. Be in position. And this will be done on the count of 3. You guys have it? All right, 1, 2, 3, reveal. It got bumped? Okay. All right. Thank you all. Now, the unveiling of this portrait is a powerful symbol not only of leadership, but of representation, progress, and possibilities for generations to come. So now it's my honor and my privilege to welcome to the podium the 61st Mayor of the City of Pittsburgh, the Honorable Mayor Ed Gainey, to share his thoughts.
First, I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you. Thank everybody for coming. There's a couple things I want to say before I make some remarks. One is I want to thank God for the opportunity to serve you. I want to thank God for the journey he put me on. For you don't get here without a covering, and you don't get here without direction. You don't break glass ceilings unless you're anointed before you're appointed. And so I want to thank God for his blessings on my life. Secondly, I want to let my mom know I love her. She couldn't make it today. She is under the weather. She's ill. So I asked people to say a prayer for my mom. She's at my house. And you could imagine, as a single mom, how she feels that she can't be here today. So I would just ask everybody to keep her in prayer. You know, it was a fight to not allow her to come down here today. You know, one thing about mamas I'm learning as they get older, right? Like, they don't listen. You know, they don't listen. Like, you trying to tell them what's good for their health, what they should be doing, and they looking at you like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I could never make that statement. I also want to recognize and thank my father and my stepmother and my nephew for being here today as well. You know, I always tell y'all when y'all talk to me and y'all hear me talk that my father's my hero. You know, I watched him do some miraculous things, no more than what he showed what love can do when he lost a daughter and raised 3 children. And I've watched how he's matured them, built them, groomed them. And as his son, I look at that man and I say, wow, look what my father has become. father to many. And I want to thank you for the example you set. To the queen, my wife, you always walk beside me, never in back. Because of you, I'm able to stand. I want to thank you because very few people will know what it's like to come home after dealing with all the issues of the city, with dealing with people trying to attack and kill your character, the way they attacked my team at times, and you had to deal with all that. And I had always said to you, I don't bring my problems home. So I tried to the best of my ability not to bring my problems home. I tried to leave them at the front door because if I left them at the front door, it allowed me to be husband and daddy. And in these last 4 years, that was a struggle because I was blessed to be in the storm for 4 years straight. And the reason why I say I was blessed to be in the storm for 4 years straight is because I understand that you can't be developed in the sunlight, you can only be developed in the storm. And so I didn't mind being in the storm, but I couldn't be there if I didn't have you. And that's a reality. Yeah. So my change of life, baby. See, the reality about my change of life, baby, my baby Mariah, is I would have never changed my life if it wasn't for you. You made me want to be a father. You taught me how to be a daddy. You was with me every Saturday. You went to all the events. I gave out hanging up to spend my Saturdays with you. You took me from the streets and gave me a career. You are my change of life, baby. And to my middle daughter, Alexa, yeah. I'm proud of you. You know, you challenged me in some ways. Like, Mariah did too, but I always say that your children got the DNA of the mom and the DNA of the dad. And it ain't never 50-50. One always has a little bit more than the other. Well, she got a lot of Eddie. Not Ed, Eddie. And you ever seeing your kids when they remind you when you was a child and you asking them like, who you think you talking to? Like, do you know I did it before you? And it's amazing because I can see Eddie in her, and it blows my mind. But where she is so much more than me is that she's a 3.5 dean student in her first semester at North Carolina A&T, and I'm extremely proud of her. And to my son, my rock, definitely my rock. You know, I've watched him come into his own. From a guy that was shy, didn't want to really say too much. And then he had just had this burst like overnight. Like he wanted to get into sports, start running track. He wanted to do some baseball. Then he got into football. Then he thought he knew about rap music. You know what I mean? And he told me all the rap music I listened to was just old and Captain Caveman type days rap music. But then I seen him listening to Dr. Dre and Eminem and all of them. So I said, wow, we can't be that far behind if you listening to him now. But I'm so proud of him. And this year during his football campaign, he got honorable mentions. And he lettered in just his 10th grade year. And, you know what I mean? You know, he got a little girlfriend now. You know what I mean? there's a little bit of turmoil in my house because when my daughter was his age, she couldn't come tell me she got no boyfriend. Unfair. Yeah, it's unfair. I agree it's unfair, but it is. Yeah. Do I got some daddies in the house? It is. I got some daddies over here. It is. It is what it is. And to my team, I'd like for y'all to stand, my whole team. Stand. My whole team, stand. My whole team, stand. My whole team, stand. My whole team. I know Lady Yaz can't stand today, but I wanted to make sure I recognized her. Let me be honest. Thank you. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for the roller coaster. Thank you for the up and downs. Thank you for the wisdom that was built. Thank you for the diversity. Thank you in believing in each other. Thank you in learning each other. There's no journey that I wouldn't do without you. I'd do it again as long as I had you. I've watched you transform systems. I've watched you make people's lives better. I've watched you do it. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for the love that you poured into our city. You took the blows and you gave the victories. And I'm very, very, very proud of all of you for the work that you've done. Can you give them a round of applause, please? My team has heard me say this, so making tough decisions and doing the tough route wasn't difficult, and I'm not saying it was easy, but it wasn't difficult because I always said I'm the statistic that's not supposed to be here. I'm not what the former mayors look like, nor am I coming from an area I have a last name that was politically powerful in this city. I don't come from the other side of the tracks. I often remind my kids, I remind them that they're more like the Huxtables. But I'm more like Good Times. You understand what I'm saying? And for those that don't understand that, let me break that down. I come from a single mom at a teenage age that birthed me in a home that was supposed to be put up for adoption. To my grandma coming to get me and bringing me home. To moving in with my grandma and living in a place called the High Rise in East Liberty. And for those that know about the High Rise, I don't have to say no more. To moving in with my mom when we moved into the low rises. And if everybody understands the low rise, I don't have to say no more. To, as you heard Detective Gates so eloquently say, not really understanding higher learning until I got to higher learning. I never met a politician in the city. They didn't come to my neighborhood. They didn't come to my schools. Never met one. I didn't meet the first politician until I went to Morgan State University. And it was shut down, and I went to class, and the teacher asked me what I was doing here. I'm from Pittsburgh. I don't know nothing about protesting. We weren't protesting in the 80s. So I'm like, you teaching, ain't you? And you ain't teaching. What am I doing here? You got a question? That's a good question. And she said, your education is in the streets with your classmates and helping to make sure that you keep this in HBCU. Because there was a certain university that wanted to defund because they wanted the engineering money. And I watched from afar how this mayor impacted the state to make sure they got their money. And when I came back, I said, I'm gonna get into community development. And I'm gonna work as hard as I can to change how this city is perceived. I started with ELDI. I worked for a state rep. I went on to work for 2 mayors. Became the first African-American City Democratic Committee chair. Ran for state rep, lost the first time, lost the second time, won the third time. And then I became mayor, the 61st mayor of this city. The mayor. And when I got to this position, I knew I would be heavily scrutinized. And I wanted that. See, I understood history. And I always told myself that my ancestors had been through more than I could even possibly understand. So any adversity that I had to go through in order for the next generation to see that they can be exposed to something greater and they don't have to live for the streets, they can live for themselves. Anything that I had to go through to change the mind of how we were perceived in this city, anything that I needed to go through to demonstrate what growth looks like, anything that I needed to go through, just give me the direction, give me the team, and I'll make this whole city dream. I read a report that this was the worst place for African-American women. But I got a floor dominated by single, powerful, in position African-American women. Everybody say they support love, but you can't support love unless you demonstrate love in every community. I thank Maria, the first trans to run, to be director of the Department of Communications. I want to thank Lindsay. Matter of fact, my neighborhood needs team stand up. Where Paul and everybody at? I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, because we took government to city in the streets, and we made it a productive initiative where people could feel loved. And I'm going to end with this. To all my single moms out there, I love you. To all these children out here that think it's difficult and you live in neighborhoods where you don't see growth or exposure at a high rate, you can be whatever you want to be. If you accept your life and reject street life, you can grow up and be the person that God has intended you to be. I know how adversity hurts. I know growing up sometimes you can't see. But let me tell you something right now. If you believe that you could be better tomorrow than you are today, then never give up your dreams of becoming what you want to become. I want you to believe in yourself like you never did before. If the greatest gift I can leave this city is a belief to see themselves in the mirror like they are somebody, then we succeeded regardless of what we brought to the city. If we can plant the seed to remove segregation, create more integration, then we've done something that has not been done in this city. We have brought racial harmony to a city that rejected it, and now through this administration, I know many neighborhoods have accepted it. I could not have done none of this without you. You make the difference. The greatest asset in this city is our people. Is our people. When we see each other as human beings, we grow together. We develop together. And listen to my lieutenants, JP, Lisa, Cal, Felicity, Pam, Lori, come up. Sydney, Olga. My lieutenant. I forget anybody? My lieutenants. Yasmin, can you get up? I want to thank Yaz for being here. She just got out the hospital. I didn't expect her to be here today. David, come up. And Paul, where's Paul? I'm going to do two things real quick because I think this is important. One is I want to thank them because they went through the storm with me. And if they ever decide to write a book, you should get it. You should get it. Because the lessons that will be in that book, told from their point of view, will be a bestseller. Trust me. And if they talk about the things that was discussed in the executive committee, listen, if you had popcorn, Netflix would be impressed. Because sometimes I will leave out there like, we are the misfits of the city. But this is what a real city of diversity looks like. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you. And I want to bring up Director Gilchrist, Chief Gilchrist. Come on up here, Chief, for a minute. I want to thank you for going on this journey. The first African-American woman to run the Department of Emergency Medical Services in this city. The first. Freedom House was an ambulance service that was birthed out of the Hill District that served the neighborhoods, particularly African-American neighborhoods. She spent 24 years in EMS. When everybody knew she should be considered as the next, there was still a rejection because they didn't want her to run the department. And all she did was create the Freedom House Academy. And Lisa or JP can correct this. For the first time, next year, and over time that had plagued the department, because of our leadership, we'll plague it no more. To her deputy, I just want to thank you for standing by her when it could have been so easy to walk away. You stood and you held her hand. I can't thank you enough for the character and integrity that you've demonstrated. I truly appreciate you. I truly do. You're the definition of what a leader looks like. And I thank you for that. Can you stand for a minute? Stand up. Yeah. 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 And I'm going to end with this. Every day you get up, let's go get it.
Yes.
What? I forget something? Yeah. Hey, see, this is the boss right here. You got to ask the boss if you forgot something. Because this is like military training right here. Left, right, left, fold your arms, sit up. Yeah, that's the boss right there.
Yes, have a seat. Yes, have a seat.
I got to sit down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As it has been said several times, and you've heard from the mayor himself, this has been one of the most diverse administration the city has ever seen, in the sense of race, age, and culture. He has given us the ability to not only accept one another, but thrive in each other's presence. And that's not an easy thing to do. To be able to put aside your ego for the betterment of the city and the betterment of the team. That's not to say that we were all roses and kumbaya. That's not the reality. But the reality is, even when we fought, we still came together to get the job done. So thank you all for coming out today and being part of this historic moment. And I hope that you take with you and you repeat what you saw here today. I can't say that everyone will repeat it and show it, but know that what happened today will endure for years to come. So for those who are able, we are holding a reception in the mayor's conference room. Those who are not, happy holidays and safe travels. Thank you.